This podcast is protected under the laws of the United States and other countries. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability, criminal prosecution, and the wrath of the tall man.
Boy! Hey, let's talk about you, the ID10T community events at ID10T.com, like Russ Stevens, aka
Cat Bus Russ,
who has started a podcast called 90 for Chill, which Russ says is dedicated to movies with a runtime between 74 and 99 minutes, the time frame that I feel is ideal. Russ, I could not agree with you more. That is a fantastic idea. Russ goes on to say there are times you need a cinematic fix but don't have time for the latest Scorsese masterpiece or offering from a comic book universe. There's also times when you need a conclusion to prevent a binge costing you a whole night. My guests and I try to follow these guidelines as we chat up features that are definitely worth your time and are beyond easy to make time for. 90 for Chill, the podcast, can be found on all major podcast platforms at 90forchill.com, and that's spelling out 90, Ninety, for F-O-R, chill. So there you go. Thank you so much for sharing, Russ. Really great idea for a podcast. Events at ID10T.com for everyone else.
There's everything here. All the mail, entertainment cassettes, a new batch of movies.
Yo, the new Friday the 13th movie? Friday the 13th, part 1649?
Look, Casablanca. They've remade Casablanca.
Philistines. I mean, how can you remake Casablanca? The one starring Myra Binglebat and Peter Beardsley was definitive.
Yeah, that's all right. Knockout. Of all the space bars in all the worlds, you had to rematerialize in mine.
Little Hand says it's time to rock and roll.
Bring the noise.
I really probably should end the podcast with Push the Button, Frank, but you know how well Can I Get a Wahoo got over in Minneapolis, so this is 90 for Chill, the podcast with Cat Bus Russ, soon to be I Dig Crazy Flicks presents 90 for Chill, the podcast, but more importantly, this is 90 for Chill 200, and with me is my big sister, the Poetic Critic. I have not kept track about how many times you've been on the show.
Well, I haven't either.
Okay. Well, I don't know. We had a lot of collaborations with a lot of repeat people now, so it's kind of like, well, I guess I gotta start what they do on Screen Drafts, the All Stars, the Hall of Famers, Legends, all that. So we are gonna get to our top 25 movies some point. So how are we doing over there in beautiful Morton, Illinois?
I'm fine.
All right, that's good. So, so this is episode 200, and of course, this is a internet thing. Just best of stuff usually. But you said you wanted to talk about, well, dare I say, we need a little Christmas.
Well, that and you said you wanted to do something summing up the year.
Yes,
I don't know how much I can do with that, so I was thinking we might also bring up some Christmas topics.
All right. So, let's honestly, like at my job, so the electronics store, they at least mix some pop stuff into their Christmas music, so it's not all of the stuff at the same time, not constant jingling around the clock, was it? Mix and mingle and all that bollocks. But there was a instrumental Christmas channel at my liquor store job, and a lot of recycling real fast on that. And there was like the most depressing piano version of We Need a Little Christmas. And it's like, oh my God, these guys really need a little Christmas right this minute. So, I have a coworker I don't really get to talk to the electronics store coworkers too much anymore. Just a lot of new faces, just been there so long. But I have a movie buff at the liquor store, and he was just saying, oh, he's got to get to his Christmas movies. Die Hard, obviously. but a big preference towards Home Alone 2 versus the original. I guess he just wore out that VHS tape and appreciates the far more brutal actions. I mean, I don't consider Home Alone 2 to be a good movie, but for sequels, that's what you have to do. I mean, really, we needed the PG-13 Home Alone, I guess. Like, you got to step up that violence factor. You got to go further over the top. Like how I had an argument with Billy Corgan about which was better, Hangover or Hangover 2.
Hmm.
Hangover was a pretty mid movie to me, but Hangover 2, like, oh, well, we got to get more disgusting. And they did it. So I appreciate the effort and the intent. So, but what holiday movies come to immediate mind for you?
Well, we've talked about Santa Claus the movie before,
Yeah.
and I'm fond of Edward Scissorhands and Elf and A Christmas Story as far as the war horses go for most people these
Well,
days, at least in
you,
this country.
well, that is my biggest Tim Burton blind. Well, I've got plenty of Tim Burton blind spots because I've got a copy of Ed Wood, haven't watched it. I guess I just skip on the Eds, I suppose, because I've not really watched Edward Scissorhands. I didn't realize it was a Christmas movie. I mean, I know you got snow at the end, which is, I think, all the ice he's cutting on those from the top of his home.
Hmm.
But I didn't realize it was a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie.
Okay, all right. Oh, but I don't know. You see, now it's like, so Tim Burton has two great Christmas movies.
Yeah, as Batman Returns and Edward Scissorhands.
All right. So I guess I guess the question is really, there's always going to be the debate what makes a Christmas movie a Christmas movie, besides for a movie set at Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know, I'd say the first Die Hard's definitely a Christmas movie, all the references, the sheer fact that he's trying to just get home, you know. Um, and then I'd say the second one, not as much because, it's obviously we had a great Christmas movie. It's weird. Like now I want to see John McClane versus Kevin McAllister because similar things. Or dare I say, do we need a? Did Rennie Harlin direct The Long Kiss Goodnight?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So we saw it. So and is that a Christmas movie?
Yes.
Okay. So, geez,
Like a
all
lot
of
of Shane Black scripts, it's set during Christmas and going into New
okay.
Year's.
Right, but I wouldn't necessarily call Iron Man 3 a Christmas movie because that's not really a big
No, it's
besi-
not as important to the plot. What I like is the term Christmas adjacent, which has come
Yes.
up in recent years to describe movies like that or Die Hard,
Oh, well,
and that
okay,
it's not a movie about Christmas per se, but it does prominently feature the holiday.
so you would say Gremlins would be Christmas adjacent because
Yeah.
really the only thing full-blown Christmas about it is Gizmo's a gift and then we get Phoebe Cates. This is why we really need PG-13 story.
Well, yeah, Christmas adjacent, it basically uses the holiday as often a foil to the main action that's going on. It sets off
Mm,
what's happening. There are a lot of other movies like this over the years. One that often gets brought up is Billy Wilder's The Apartment,
mm.
in
Yeah,
which a
but
big serial story takes place during the office Christmas party.
okay.
And there's a really good clip they made for a Criterion channel the first year that they did what they call the Blue Christmas Collection, which is Christmas movies that focus that are about Christmas or set during Christmas that are not happy, sunshiny stories. And they did a clip called Blue Christmas as an introduction. And they feature clips from all sorts of different movies and shows, pointing out that Christmas movies often tend to be the most effective if they're willing to admit that not everyone is happy on Christmas. They can be a terribly lonely time for people, or something that just gets on sticks in the craw. I mean,
Oh, mhm.
and then we're bringing up stuff like Gremlins or Eyes Wide Shut, which is set during Christmas, and, and tons of foreign language films would
Mhm.
qualify too.
Okay, so here's just something I stopped and kind of realized as we were going over the Christmas adjacent concept. Now, I'm saying Die Hard's a Christmas movie, but the argument I've come up against that, and
Uh-huh.
same thing with Gremlins, is those are summer blockbuster releases.
Yeah, they were released in the summertime. Now,
So,
Gremlins was supposed to be a Christmas release in 1984. It Warner Brothers had intended it to be released over Christmas, but they realized that they didn't really have a big tent pole for the summer that year, so they bumped it back a few months.
okay. All right, so yeah. Um, all right, so I guess what I'm getting at is a Christmas movie should be released in the Christmas season.
Well, they talked about that in the wrap up of the most recent by default Mystery Science Theater 3000 experiment, the Christmas Dragon, where during the end credits, everybody's talking about what makes a Christmas movie, and they do decide it was released during Christmas time. So this means all sorts of other movies would technically qualify under that banner.
All right, so opening a opening a jar of worms and
Yeah.
making us wonder why we haven't successfully finished the latest Kickstarter for Gizmoplex.
Mhm.
I'm
Well, no,
just saying.
there's a lot of issues as to why the last year's Kickstarter didn't work out.
Hmm.
Because
No.
I read up on that. Part of it was there were, times are harder for a lot of people. And another was this was during the SAG-AFTRA strike, so
Hmm.
pretty much none of the performers could promote it because there
That's
was,
kind go ahead.
yeah, that was, and I guess some people they'd had a hard time delivering on the Kickstarter rewards the first time around.
Hmm.
For the person who people came first or gave more. That was what I read.
Okay.
So
One. Hmm.
they intend to try again sometime.
Okay. Yeah, when it comes to Kickstarter rewards, it's like that's not why I would be throwing money behind a project myself. The reward is the project. But well, I mean, I wouldn't mind like an executive producer credit if I gave enough money, but and also kind of like I'm just saying, if you're subscribed to the I Dig Crazy Flicks Patreon, yes, you get a sticker to start, but then it's all about the shout outs. Thank you, Tim Bates from the Night of the Demons episode and the Arena episode, and my good buddy, the Scoop Staley. He hasn't done anything with AAW recently, but I don't know. I think it called to Danny Daniels might get him back in there. But so, yeah, it's just but when it comes to it's interesting because my guest for the Fan Expo New Orleans podcast, January 10th, Friday, 2 p.m., room 290, which is really weird because I guess the floor doesn't open till 3. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get. Hopefully, having local talent will put me over. But they were discussing on their latest episode of the NOLA film scene. Uh, they're both actors, and they were discussing with another actress who moved back to New York from New Orleans, and bringing up all the degrees of being in the union or qualifying for the union. And honestly, it's kind of like I'm surprised there wasn't an upkick in independent projects because, like, so many of those guys, TJ and Brian, they definitely they don't work on high enough budget stuff to get considered unionship. And they're very much about about being in a right to work state in Louisiana. So it's kind of like, well, I'm just saying, like, you could have gone and done, given us Highlander Final Dimension, the MST3K process, and just say, no, it's a fan film. Just funny stuff like that, I guess. Um, so right, when it comes so I guess that goes back to the Long Kiss Tonight, Good Night. I think that was a November release, correct?
I can look it up.
Okay, well, I can do the same, but I'm just saying that might be the closest. Oh, and I also thought Lethal Weapon, of course, is a.
Yeah.
I don't re I think that was a summer blockbuster though. I so did the movies create Christmas in July? Because I didn't really hear about that until Nickelodeon in the late 80s.
Well, the Christmas in July concepts existed for a long time. There was a movie called Christmas in July as early as 1940. It's the title of a Preston Sturges comedy involving a big contest
Hmm.
with a like $25,000 windfall, looking this up. And that was
Hmm.
released in October.
Okay.
But yeah, the terms existed a lot longer. I don't know where it originates. I guess
Hmm.
there's a Wikipedia article that explains it, but no. Releasing Christmas movies all over the years more common than it would seem because with, for instance, the original Miracle on 34th Street was released in June. And the
Hmm.
studio didn't really see the point of just releasing a movie and making it seem like it was specific to Christmas. And you you want you're thinking of having something appeal all year round.
Hmm.
So you don't necessarily release a seasonal movie for that specific season.
Okay.
In some ways, you're really just following what people seem to like at a certain time of year. Die
Hmm.
Hard is a big action movie, and people like big action movies during the summer. It's the same thing Warner Brothers had when they moved Gremlins back to a June release. That's kind of movie people are up for, and they don't necessarily care when it's set.
Okay. Uh, right. So going through, I believe just looking at your letterbox, the Friday After Next would have been one of those summer movies, but or spring movies more than likely. I just doing a
No,
little.
that was November release.
Oh, so I
In
guess it.
recent years, we
Mm,
definitely have had an uptick in you release the Christmas movie in November. That
oh,
goes
okay.
back at least as far as A Christmas Story came out in November 1983. Like, if the movie's really obviously seasonal now, that they'll release it at that time of year.
Mhm.
Like, with Miracle on 34th Street, years ago, I watched a documentary about the history of Christmas themed films, and it points out that the original trailer they made for that movie barely gives you any idea of what it's even about. Like, they don't want to mention it's a fantasy movie about the real Santa Claus. And
Mhm.
because you have to remember, fantasy filmmaking and sci-fi filmmaking were not really a big deal until maybe the 1950s.
Well, that's.
Horror, horror was a big thing, from the days of silence onward, but it took a lot longer for fantasy and science fiction to catch on in the United States, at least. It was not something Hollywood generally did.
Mhm.
Someone
Well.
pointed out that we don't really get a big uptick in fantasy stories until you might there was a noticeable uptick right after World War II in what's sometimes referred to as the film blanc movement.
Mhm.
Well, we all know what film noir is,
Right. Yeah.
and that emerged from what the collective psychological experience people had in World War II, including many filmmakers and actors, many of whom were on the front lines or doing films for the government.
Mm,
But you then had the more optimistic and hopeful film blocks.
yes.
Like there were a lot of really churchy movies in the late 40s.
Hmm.
And even before that, during the war.
Right.
But
It was all about dealing with the circumstances or trying to find well, I mean, it's all about dealing with it.
you're trying to find your meaning again.
Right.
The classic example of this, most famous of all the film blocks, is probably It's a Wonderful Life.
Right.
And
So
even that
I'm
gets
just,
pretty dark.
right. I'm saying it's a kind of a nihilism versus hope type thing.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So, right. So, yeah. No, I wouldn't say like when you bring up fantasy, I would say that if I'm correct, Wizard of Oz didn't really set the world on fire back in 39, correct?
It did okay back at the time, and it won uh, the Oscar for Best Original Song. That was no small
Well,
feat, and it was a
hmm.
very competitive 1939 being a famously very, very competitive year.
Oh yeah. No, I mean
But
that was
it certainly wasn't even MGM's biggest release for 1939, even with all the resources they poured into it.
hmm.
It because the big concern was Gone with the Wind. That was when they pushed the most.
Right. Yep.
So it took a while for the Wizard of Oz to fully catch on and into what it became, because it had a few reissues, and then moved into television once color started becoming viable in the late 1950s.
Hmm.
But it did take a while.
Hmm.
And again, there aren't a ton of other fantasy movies from the 1930s and 40s when you discount horror films. That's a
Yeah.
different issue that
Well, I mean it's a
are
lot trick.
particularly well remembered today.
Well, I mean it's just the sheer trickiness of doing it. I mean doing being able to create new worlds and such. I mean Cecil B. DeMille is the guy who was the excess, and even then it was still just recreating history.
Yeah,
Hmm.
he preferred the historical epic approach, even the ones with more fantastical elements.
Right.
Now, that's another thing you have to remember, is that there's one great book on movie awards that pointed out when the biblical epics started falling out of style as the 60s wore on, that kind of cleared a space for something like Star Wars later to catch on.
So,
That that style of big spectacle movie.
so Jesus had to die so we could get Star Wars. I kind of like it. Right. But we're talking about the date of his birth. So, and just for kicks, I have been releasing some bonus episodes this week. We're having a Merry Mark L. Lester Christmas on.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, so just some reissues, what have you. So, um, yeah, then
But turning it back to Christmas movies in my recent
yes.
letterbox,
Hmm.
yeah, I try to keep a list of Christmas movies to save for November and especially December, because I like to catch up on new things and not just watch the old stuff ad nauseum.
Yeah.
There was a whole Slate article on that topic recently about you
Well,
have to rationing out your Christmas movies.
well, a lot of people are doing that. Like my friend at the liquor store is like, "Oh, I just haven't gotten to my Christmas movies yet." And it's like, I mean, for me, like there's Die Hard and Gremlins, and it's like, I'm cool. Like maybe I'll watch after watching Shredder Orpheus last night, which I thought was brilliant for what it is. Um, it's kind of like, huh. I guess maybe I'll watch Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter again, as seen on Web Soup, um, for the season, I guess. But it just surprised me. A lot of people are like, "Oh no, I got to line up Christmas movies."
Yeah, but it can be very tricky. Many of the recommendations I still haven't checked off. I simply could not find streaming or
Yeah,
on YouTube or whatnot. So you wind up you wind up poking around a bit to try and find something different. And
Well, is Serial Mom a Christmas movie?
no,
No, I'm just being.
but I've been meaning to catch up with that one anyway. Now that
Mhm,
since it is on Criterion Channel right now.
mhm. Um, okay, and I guess another just looking at that, like, oh, and so Bernard and the Genie Christmas movie, because like that cast just makes me want to watch it regardless of the
Um, yeah,
mid
that is a
status.
Christmas movie. It was originally produced for the BBC for Christmas 1991.
Hmm.
And it is an interesting little thing because it's a Richard Curtis script.
Oh,
So yeah, you see where this is going.
yes.
And it's it it was kind of a big deal for a TV movie at the time because you not only have Curtis working again with Rowan Atkinson,
Mm.
um, this is not that long after Blackadder wrapped up,
I
and
keep
we're in
forget
the
I keep forgetting when I recommend Blackadder to like it's from the Love Actually guy.
yeah,
So, hmm
but
it mm,
but beyond that, you had this is a vehicle for Alan Cumming, and I
right.
guess was one of his first major roles.
Yeah, we're four years removed from GoldenEye.
Yeah,
So, mm,
but and also the genie being played by Lenny Henry, who, to put it very roughly, was the UK equivalent of Eddie Murphy in the 1980s.
yeah, no, I am familiar with that one.
Yeah.
That gentleman.
Hmm.
So, mm-hmm.
Never crossed over to this country. He tried once and it didn't really pan out. But
Oh,
what
so many British children. I want to see Beverly Hill Cop. No, no, we have Eddie Murphy at home.
well they enjoyed Eddie Murphy as much as
Oh,
anybody.
I know. It's just more of a just the classic. It's an old joke. The mom. Hey mom, get me KFC. No, we have KFC at home,
Hmm.
and it's a
Well,
Tyson chicken patty.
yeah, well, Bernard and the Genie it's a short TV movie that,
Mm,
as I put in my little write up for Letterboxd, kind of feels like the wacky Disney comedy version of something like Trading Places.
hmm
Because the setup is that Cumming is this nice guy's working at an art dealership. And just going into the Christmas holidays, he gets fired by his mean boss, Atkinson, basically because he won't defraud little old ladies over the value of their artwork they have. And the same day, he also uh, finds out his girlfriend's been cheating on him with his best friend and all that.
yeah.
And so the soon the apartment's like stripped almost to the bare wall, and one of the only things left behind is this old antique lamp, which because it opens with a prologue set 2,000 years earlier, we know has a guy who was cursed to become a genie inside, and that's Henry's character. And
Yeah,
uh,
we don't get too many backstories on genies. I mean, it's becoming more popular, I believe.
mhm.
But it's like, hey, hey, Robin, what's your backstory?
but
Oh man, would you imagine the backstory Robin would have come up with that?
so anyway, the fella, so our poor Bernard, he absently rubs the lamp and the genie emerges. And what you get after this is basically an hour, maybe an hour or so's worth of what's kind of a mix of, you know, guy can have any wish he wants granted. There's no limit on what he can. There's no three wishes limit in this one.
Hmm.
Um, and you know, they, we get wacky wishes, and they get in some trouble, and and they eventually and they eventually get back at Atkinson.
Hmm.
But when they get to that part, there's still like 20 minutes to go. And so kind of feels like they're just running out the clock for 20 minutes with other hijinks because we learn, among other things, that the genie knew Jesus Christ.
Huh.
He was like a disciple, not an apostle, but a disciple. And
Mm-hmm.
then they decide they'll go use the genie's powers to make kids' wishes come true in the true meaning, the true spirit of Christmas, which leads to a funny bit where they go down to Santa's grotto at a department store and they
Mm-hmm.
start making all the kids' wishes come true instantly. And a
Okay.
kid goes in with like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle doll. He comes out with a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. They use one of the costumes from the live action movies they were making around this time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's
of course, a girl gets a pony, that sort of
mm.
thing. And
Oh,
then
that
it just kind of winds down and wraps up.
well, I mean, that's I was about to say, well, geez, 70 minutes. That's not enough time for Richard Curtis to be pretentious. But then you tell me, we're just gonna fill up with things with bollocks. Oh, just like two-third, I'd say a third of the stories in Love Actually. So,
I mean, and also, if you thought the Mac and Me product placement for McDonald's was wild, there's
oh,
a ton of
geez,
fast food product placement in this film, and it is played for comedy, like the Popeyes chicken was in
and Little
Little
Nicky,
Nicky. Like the genie
which,
loves fast food, and it even figures into a gag at the end how much he loves fast food. But the Big
uh,
Mac is his favorite.
mhm. Well, that's funny now that you say bring up Little Nicky though, because I know that was
Yeah, that
late
was a November.
2000 year. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
I think they did one for the Satanists, but yeah, that's not exactly a large audience still. I mean, if only atheists would just like accept Satanism.
yeah.
Oh,
So
well,
I was,
that's what Satan. I've had this conversation before in the podcast. Satanism is really just atheism, but yeah. Um, so
but yeah, I thought it could have been better than it was.
oh yeah, I mean,
It,
but
it does end up feeling pretty slight,
okay, and
but that
but yeah,
is streaming on Tubi.
okay, and I see that I'm sorry, too many poop jokes just flipping through channels has kept me away from eight crazy nights.
Yeah,
Um, and
Eight
that's a
Crazy Nights loves its poop jokes.
yeah, and it's I
After a
bring up
while, it really is they're rubbing it in with the poop jokes. But that is an interesting near miss anyway. Having finally seen, because again, this one is on Tubi and it is a very short film.
yes,
Because What You Get is really a movie that is truly torn about what it wants to be.
mm-hmm.
Because on the one hand, you have a perfectly valid plot for a fun Hanukkah/Christmas movie. Like you get a you get a weird odd couple. You set up an odd couple situation and you play that out, and you get the sentimental backstory for why the main character hates Christmas. Because Sandler is voicing like several different characters here.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
This being Sandler, and there's actually some very likable humor and some genuinely good original songs, especially after so many years we've had where animated musicals are basically all in the Frozen Encanto mold of big
Mm.
belting numbers and stuff. These relatively simple comedy numbers are rather fun, but this is a turn of the millennium comedy, and like so many, and this is the sort of thing they're making fun of in those videos that you see on TikTok that are spoofing, trying to show your girlfriend a movie from the turn of the millennium. You try to show them a comedy and you just end up having really awkward reactions.
Oh yes, no. As a wrestling fan, bringing back my love for ECW, and it's like I don't want to say it was a different time, but and I miss and that's a weak point for me because I miss crowds being using offensive languages, like asking the heel valet to show their tits. It's like or she's a crack whore chance. It's like, but you're supposed to get those people angry you're supposed to have that individual get angry at you, but um,
Yeah. Because for
so
for everything that works in Eight Crazy Nights, like the songs are good, the animation is sometimes quite pretty
oh,
without being there was a real effort put into this film, and I'm not surprised that Sandler would go on to do other animation projects.
mm,
Clearly he seems interested in the form.
oh yeah,
But it keeps tripping itself up on um there it's not just that there is a lot of it's not just the bathroom humor. We have a lot of embarrassing jokes at the expense of Chinese people.
oh,
Yeah, the Chinese restaurant owner is voiced by Rob Schneider.
oh gosh, okay, I was about to
And
say, but this is the one time a year we get them where we don't feel bad about making fun of the Chinese, and oh no, Rob Schneider ruins everything.
and they just keep hammering at that joke too,
Hmm.
which doesn't help. And there are also tons of jokes made at the expense of freakish body conditions, which
Mm.
again might not have been so bad if they weren't constantly being harped on long past the point it's actually funny.
Right. Yeah, but no, we get over the dwarf humor pretty quick in Games of Thrones. All right. So,
So it's like a weird near miss. It's clearly well intentioned, but I can see where, especially if you had to see this in a theater and you're hearing Sandler shrieking in high pitched voices and full Dolby sound, this will get on your nerves extremely quickly.
mm,
So, but then you get to next Friday, which came out around the same time. They were both 2002 holiday releases. And it's kind of the same sort of problems.
oh yeah. Hey, I don't
I
know.
mean,
I'm just
on the one hand, you have these very amiable. It is as stoner comedies seem to want to be. It's very amiable in its way,
mm,
but then there's a whole bunch of stuff that clearly hasn't aged well.
yeah.
We get your gay panic jokes. We
Mm-hmm.
get your slurs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I have talked about my screenplay Main Event of the Dead with its like the ending is kind of like I say it's a tribute to Some Like It Hot. Some may say it's a gay panic joke. So, um, it's the fact of the matter is it's a no budget, it's an ultra low budget slash no budget movie, and I can't afford a shark to just jump up and eat the lead actor, a la another Rennie Harlin classic, Deep Blue Sea. So yeah, I wrote myself in a corner on that one. But yeah, you've been I geez, even before I would say oh no, I'd say you pretty much just picked up on the Christmas spirit just before Thanksgiving when I look at your letterbox. So, but so Rocky Mountain Holiday with John Denver and the Muppets, superior to the other Muppet Christmas stuff?
Well, it's not a Christmas special.
Okay.
They'd done one in 1979,
Hmm.
and they're using holiday in the British sense here. It's they're going on a vacation.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, a short vacation up into the mountains, and it's mostly just songs, but they're pretty good songs, and and they work in some pretty good comedy with the Muppets. And given how much of this was just shot on, pretty much the whole thing was shot on location, there's some pretty impressive puppetry work for 1983.
Hmm.
But, but yeah, it is, about 50 minutes long, so that technically counts as a feature because it has a narrative. So I
Yeah.
counted it.
Right. Oh no, I
But that
don't.
was just for fun.
Hmm. Alrighty. Well, let's see. Thinking back to Hanukkah and going back to working in retail. So they do throw some dreidel on some of the playlists they play at the liquor store. And it's like, oh man, that's really sad for the for our Jewish buyers and such, consumers. And well, no, I don't want to say it, both of those sound really bad. Jewish buyers, Jewish consumers, like, oh, modest proposal stuff like that statement. But the people in this, it's just basically, I know Hanukkah starts the day after Christmas, and you know us retailers, we want to get done with this Christmas music. So I kind of feel like we're just you know depriving a consumer base. Like not to say I know many other, I guess you'd have to refer to Eight Crazy Nights because I don't know that many other Jewish songs besides Dreidel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So all right. So we've gone about coming up on 40 minutes. Do you want to any more Christmas stuff you want to hark on?
Not particularly, unless you've got anything.
No, nope. But we're so just the train again. Look, before I go to my letterbox that I got on my iPad right now. We're gonna be just the transition to 2024. See, you really enjoyed Wicked.
Yeah, I thought that was an exceptional film. Although I can absolutely see why there are people who bounce off this sort of thing very hard.
Oh, well, that's another recent episode of the NOLA Film Scene podcast where they had the actress they were interviewing. She's primarily focused on theater work in New York
Uh-huh.
and how she could say, like, oh, I understand why people cannot get into theater. Like, you got your tiny little seats. It's more fun to be a performer, she says, in theater than probably to actually watch it.
Well, and having, seen a fair deal of theater in London, and the houses do seem relatively small compared to those of us who live in the flyover states, and our experience is more likely to be either small community theaters or big auditoriums that,
Yeah,
usually feature larger acts. It can be a little surprising to see how snug some of these older theaters really are.
yeah.
So
Well,
I'm thinking that's what she's talking about.
right. Oh, at least seats wise, but then it's,
Mhm.
how the narrative goes and structuring your songs. Like
Yeah.
it's yeah. So it's I don't know. I mean, this is like I have not looked into like mom. Oh well, I don't know. Don't need to embarrass thoughts on blind color blind casting. We'll just leave that there. I have not researched what Ariana Grande's nationality, heritage is. But
She's Italian American.
oh, you said Italian American?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you see, there you go. All right, settled. Well, I don't know. Then again, like there's a lot of Italian Americans who, you know, try to avoid being associated with the Caucasian ones. So, uh, this is not a political podcast. Um, yeah, so 2024, fortunately I started my a second letterbox account dedicated to just the 90-minute stuff. So that's easier on me. But for me, I primarily I got out to the theater a handful of times. And I'll just have to say it though, it's all for franchise stuff in my case.
Oh yeah, that was the same with me this year too, and that did get frustrating after a while.
Hmm.
But it is a struggle if you don't live in the larger cities for these smaller stuff to come your way, especially if you don't necessarily have a lot of time to get out to see it or energy.
Hmm.
I totally understand how that works. But at the same time, I understand the frustration people would feel that there aren't more options available. Um, like for instance, this weekend, the we have a five screener in my town, And the four big movies that are playing this weekend are Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Mufasa the Lion King, which looks to be getting two screens, Moana, and Wicked Part 1.
So
And
all,
that's all.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
So
on the fringes that Lord of the Rings anime is getting like the showings at 10:20 at night, and that's about it.
okay, yeah. Well, I guess I am interested in, and like, oh, I don't have to dedicate an entire binge to a Lord of the Rings project. I'm in. Um, so, but yeah, it's just and I guess going into it, like stuff like that. I watched a What Culture video about canceled canceled sequels, I think it is, or canceled movies. And
Uh-huh.
they were talking about that, oh, Apple already had or Miramax already had the director of Wolves writing a second screenplay, a sequel. And Wolves did fine critically and it's one of Apple's biggest movies. But he basically said, nope, not doing it after you only gave me a week in theaters.
Uh-huh.
So, um, and yeah, it's like there's so many movies I'd love to go out to the theater to see. But then it's like, oh, I don't have the time and it's going to be on streaming. I guess I just wish Hollywood would give it the time, I suppose, for
Well,
a
they
big
can't really
screen.
afford to anymore, the way the Hollywood economy has become over the past 20 or so years. They really don't want to do that.
No,
And
I don't know. It kind of makes me wish that if we're going to the streaming model, it's like, can we get back to intimate like movie houses, I suppose, where it's like, oh, you got to go to here or here to see a movie, or let everything else be on streaming, I suppose, if that's their game plan. Because like going back to 2021 with like, all right, I want to see Matrix Resurrections in freaking IMAX, and I get a 12:30 showing, and then it's Spider-Man all over the bloody place.
mhm.
Like but and I'm not saying I was disappointed with any of the franchise movies I went and saw. I mean, even Argyle, which is more of peripheral since they're trying to tie it up to the Kingsman. Um, I my big problem with that is it's like, oh, these actresses, the Bryce Dallas Howard doesn't really know how to play play the play the action hero, I suppose. Some brilliant action sequences, nobody will deny that, um but you got a cat who gets to beat the shit out of Bryan Cranston, so it was enough for me to enjoy it. But yeah, I liked Alien Romulus, and I'm not that much of a hater on the Ian Holm bit. Like, if you, I think that's what makes Ash such a great antagonist in the first film. Is like, oh, this is a character in itself. It's not the actor. Um, and I guess you could say that's why I'm not upset with Peter Cushing being revived in Rogue One. It's like that's such a they created such a character, and dare I say maybe it's a limited character since, oh, you can obviously recreate it with a computer, but they laid such groundwork that I
I'm
don't
not
really
a fan.
hate it.
I'm just not a fan of the whole conceit. And I have to say that I did have I didn't get any better than Dune Part 2 this year. There's just no way around it. But I was very pleasantly surprised by how well Beetlejuice turned out.
Oh no,
But
everybody's like, oh, Tim Burton's back on his game suddenly. It's like, um, I think once he got away from Johnny Depp, I think he actually
that's
did
what some people are wondering if that's what it really took. That after a certain point, the collaboration wasn't working anymore.
right. I mean,
You're like you're stuck with this, like you're getting dragged down by this train wreck guy, and
Yeah, well, no, but I'm just saying like uh I think the trains were off the rails after Pirates of the Caribbean period. Like he was like too old, I think, to do what Tom Hardy does. And it's like I got to make every character I do totally different and not Tom Hardy. And then
Uh-huh.
like yeah, but Tom Hardy is my age. And he's, just breaking out. Well, Johnny Depp, until I would say Edward Scissorhands was just playing Johnny Depp characters.
Hmm.
A pretty boy, dare I say.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, after yeah, but like I'm trying to see what's because I really have only seen one of his movies, gosh, probably between Planet of the well, of course, I did see Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
Hmm.
but I don't think I really saw anything since that and frickin' uh Planet of the Apes 2001. And I'm just going through that right now. It's like, okay, Franklin, Kingdom of Heaven. Huh. Okay, it's weird how Wikipedia can put things in there. I mean, I dug Mrs. Peregrine's Home of for Peculiar Children. I
Hmm.
mean, it wasn't really Tim Burton enough for me. Like and that's a weird thing. It's like, wanting some kind of visualization. Like you want this. Like when I see Tim Burton, I want the large Marge scene from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Uh-huh.
Because yeah, it's nice and whimsical, but that could all be Paul Rubin. But and when they pulled her out of the car, like that, the cab, that's my Tim Burton. So, but
And it
again,
is frustrating because 2024, was seen as a big improvement for the box office, at least in terms of
yes,
people getting back to the movies. But we are still facing this problem that all we have are big franchises because everything else has become content based for places like Netflix
yeah,
and which is there was an expose of sorts online this week. I posted it on the link to it on Blue Sky, just
mhm.
and just skimming over it. You see just how much damage Netflix's business model when it came to the movies has done to the larger industry.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
And we're going into 2025, and again, we're going to be seeing a lot more what they call IP extensions.
right.
And I'm not sure how well a lot of these are going to play over, given what has worked and what did work and what didn't work this year.
Mhm.
Like, is there going to be a huge market for Captain America: Brave New World or the Snow White remake?
Well, I'm there for Captain America, Brave New World. I mean, Harrison Ford is the Red Hulk. I'm there. But even and look, you put Giancarlo Esposito in something. That's the official Nintendo seal of approval. Oh, I miss those. So, um, so I'm optimistic about that. I still gotta with 90 for Chill really kind of like opening itself up to the I dig crazy flicks. I imagine I'll be able to talk more about movies like Brave New World and such. Lost my train of track, that train of thought on that, but I I'm just saying it's kind of as long as you do something, do something a little nutty, I'll probably be there or I'll try to be there. Working my hours makes it kind of tricky, and I just can't walk to a movie theater. Really, I
Mhm.
can't walk to a movie theater. There's are none in Urbana, Illinois. You got to go to Champaign or Savoy, and really, you only got two theaters in three towns essentially. Everybody says the best thing to do is just go to the drive-in in Gibson City, and that's a 25-30 minute drive. Uh, so that I get, and I don't know, maybe that's a indictment of cinema right now that there are just, I think, a lot fewer theaters, or it sure feels like it.
It does kind of feel that way.
And, I say that granted, when we were growing up in the 90s, when mom wanted to see something, she would take us to pretty much any little theater in Peoria. I think that
Yeah.
kind of started for me back with the Living Daylights, because Morton was not going to get that one.
Hmm.
So and then the charm of, oh, you know what, we're just going to go up. We park, the car is behind the building. We'll just walk through the emergency exit, the fire exit and stuff. Um, Kind of charm to that, I suppose. But I mean, then you look at Peoria, like I don't think we all we had was the when you look at new theaters, I guess you have the Willow Knolls and you have the AMC over the past 30 years. But, otherwise everything kind of just dropped off. Um so that's but I don't know, I'm going through my letterbox for 2024, and it's let's see, any discoveries in January. Well, I gave Stone Cold a full watch, and it's just funny that the only way to really watch it, at least right now, is to purchase the Riff Tracks version of it.
Hmm.
That's something like, oh, that's so tempting, but I found a $15 Blu-ray for it. It's like, I don't know if it's worth $30. And I mean, I watched the Black Mass 2, which was just like, oh, you guys tried so hard. Um, and then of course we saw a lot of first time watches for us, I guess you would say, at B Fest. I mean, I was really impressed by um A Boy and His Dog, and I love Tammy and the T-Rex. But and I know you have your vibes about the Apple. It's like, let's see. 4 stars? Come on. You know, I'm just not, BIM would be very disappointed. But now, so I was watching Shredder Orpheus, and I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I suggest that one for B Fest, because there is a scene like at a punk show where they're just like throwing blow up dolls like they were beach balls in the audience. And it's like, oh, that is how you make a classic for the B Fest. I just don't know if I can afford the $200 sponsorship fee and a bunch of blow up dolls. Um, yeah, no, I guess just going through my list of what I've seen, discovered. I will say I love The Beekeeper.
Hmm.
I'm hoping that becomes a franchise. There's just something so charming about stupid Jason Statham movies. Like reasonably budgeted stupid Jason Statham movies. Like nobody's asking for the Meg 3, at least in the United States. Um, I did see the Kill Room, which is a fun, I think, little reunion of Uma Thurman and Sam Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson as a black Jewish bookie is an interesting turn. Did get around the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw after like really realizing how awful the first one is, but and that's just like, oh man, you had two great characters. Why do you need to have that franchise around it? Millennium Actress. Oh, well, I just have a thing for Satoshi Kon, but that was brilliant. Have you seen that one?
Which one?
Millennium Actress?
Yeah, that I bounced off of that one when I saw it years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not a big Satoshi Kon fan.
Hmm. Have you gotten around the Perfect Blue yet?
I keep trying to track it down and I can't get to it.
Well, you should
It's
try
been out
the.
of print on disc for many years, and
Oh yeah, no, I understand that. If you go to you should I should have my Apple TV account tied to your TV,
uh-huh.
and I have that in my purchases. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I mean that is the real litmus test for if Satoshi Kon could be your thing.
Right.
Let's see. I think you would really enjoy Pearl. I was caught that one prepping for Maxine. And Maxine was fine. It just ends up being more a police procedural than in the crazy horror movies the first two were, which disappointed a bunch of people. I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine, it's a 3-star, it's a perfect 3-star movie. Um, and getting into that Vinegar Syndrome stuff, I mean, it's all fun. Sons of Steel was fun. Finally got around to Beverly Hills Cop. I mean, I really got a new appreciation for Darkman. And honestly, I've been catching up on a lot of Walter Hill myself,
Uh-huh.
which it's kind of like I'm kind of surprised he didn't have more blockbusters. I mean, I think his magnum opus is Streets of Fire, but um which is definitely so niche. I understand why it was a bomb in the United States, of course.
Right.
But like he wasn't like you could see that he had a lot of like he had a lot of good ideas. I don't think he was he like he's just a competent enough director. Like you don't think action, him is strong action, I suppose. But so let's see. Vampire in Brooklyn. Arnold is a fun little movie, which I'm surprised that was a Bing Crosby production and how American it actually is.
Uh,
Uh,
Production company did do a bunch of films that were horror adjacent in the early 70s for some reason.
yeah.
The most famous one is Willard,
Okay. Well,
the
obviously
original
that. Oh, yeah.
Willard.
Um, I happen to like going to other stuff. Like I happen to have a lot of fun with Vampire in Brooklyn. I think like it's definitely flawed and probably too much for Wes Craven to direct. Um, but it's like thought it's a nice degree of silliness. So, and is it John Witherspoon, the late great, from the Friday franchise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you put him in anything, it's probably gonna incite enough laughs that you're not disappointed you took the time. Like the ladies, man, if you want to talk about bad turn of the century comedies, at least in terms of aging. Ooh. Um, yeah, and then finally, like as I say, watched a lot of Walter Hill this year. Last Man Standing finally gave it all the attention it deserves. I was really impressed by Daughters of Darkness. I mean, not 4-star impressed, but um, I mean it. Like I'm surprised. Like I'm surprised The Hunger gets so much love because like I think they've real and I think a lot of movies in the vampire movies in the 70s really focused on the concept of say a Lilith as
Yeah.
the vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's like when I think about The Hunger, that's like isn't that pretty much the same thing? Our female vampire looking to replace her protege?
Yeah, pretty much. It's classic
Yeah.
premise. Going
Okay.
back to stories like Carmilla.
Right, right. Um, yeah, and I guess the rest, I rewatched Silent Running, and gosh, that one, that time it really hit me. I think makes me question, should I have put Videodrome over that back in 2020 as the best of the year? Um, I mean, Bruce Dern still feels like Bruce Dern, but hippie Bruce, but the hippie elements and, um, like this is the first time you really care about I really cared about robots. I have not seen the original Metropolis. Sorry. Um the little drones, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Um,
Mhm.
and as I say, recently watched Shredder Orpheus, and for a movie that was shot on VHS, then transferred the film. It doesn't, you could tell like Blu-ray is not something it's supposed to be on. This is definitely meant for analog. But I thought there was just so many great things they were able to do with that movie. And just funny, like it's even got some Beetlejuice vibes, which I know is 2 years after. Like, um, in this movie, it's basically after the drug wars in Central America in the 80s. Now I think there's a lot of vibes that I wouldn't be, I doubt the writer of Ready Player One's seen it, but basically, oh, low income housing is we're just going to put a bunch of shipping containers for people to live in, which, well, that's the stacks. But it's a fun little take on the Orpheus story. And then it's just very weird as I'm researching the Orpheus story. How many like Moulin Rouge is an Orpheus reimagining?
I I guess I can see it if I squint.
Okay, all right, good. I just didn't know if I needed to make time for that real fast. But yeah, in Shredder Orpheus, they the Hades is running a TV channel essentially.
Hmm.
And it's like, oh, we got to get more people to watch Euthanasia Broadcast Network, where you praise the ray and they suck your energy out. So that's how they kill Eurydice, um, to get more ratings. And Orpheus has to go through there, and there's a scene where he meets his parents, and they're just doing the work of shredding little like you get your when you get to Hades, they give you your paperwork, which you're supposed to give to get which is your memories. What you're supposed to do is get shredded. So when you're reborn, you can make the same mistakes over again. And there's a scene as he's trying to get to the last layer of hell. Essentially, he's having to tread through a hallway full of paper shredder waste. Just fun, silly things like that. I gave it a 4.5 star review. I mean, that's how impressed I was. And to Vinegar Syndrome's credit, they threw on, oh, and here's the original VHS tape transfer. So you can watch it in the low fidelity it was meant to be in. So really makes me want to buy more Vinegar Syndrome stuff after that one. Um, And I know they'd recently got Cannibal the Musical, so a lot of promise there. Only thing I need to watch, I think, to conclude the year is the 4:30 movie from Kevin Smith.
Uh-huh.
So, um, but for you, I mean, anything really standing out in 2024 that, I mean, and it doesn't have to be from 2024, as I say, how my podcast works. Um, just something you fell in love with this year.
I wouldn't say there was anything I'd add to my all-timer list, if that's what you
Okay.
meant.
Yeah, something like that, I guess.
But there were a
Oh,
lot of exceptional films I saw. I mean,
mhm.
that's what the letterboxd is for.
Oh yeah. Yep. Let's see. So, yep. Some classics. What Price Hollywood? You need to show more love for Marcel. Hey, proper respect for the crow. Very cool. So I'm leaning right now for my favorite movie that I saw this year. Really, like it's one of those when it comes back to my little pseudo niece, Miette, that when she was growing up, 3 years old, Coraline was on all the time. I just never paid attention to it. But
Uh-huh.
I'm leaning for that to be like my perhaps the movie of 2024 for me. Um, but I see that you really dug Paranorman.
Yeah.
Mhm. And Godzilla. Oh, okay, Godzilla versus Mothra. I know we talked about
Yeah, we
the
talked about Return of Godzilla.
Oh yeah, but even long ago on the podcast, we talked about was it Mothra versus Godzilla?
Yeah, that was what the first go round was called.
So she got the top billing.
Yeah, in the 60s.
Okay. Oh, dang it, the patriarchy came back. Ooh, Planet of the Vampires. I know that's Mario Bava, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean I have found some like I really liked Blood and Lace, but
Mhm.
okay. Verdict, of course. Hatchet for yeah, I mean you watch so many more movies than I like. By the time I get to your letterbox, it's like I must have missed something. So, and that's true. Waxworks. Oh, that's 1924. Dante's. Yep, same. We had the same vibes on Return of Godzilla, so that's a contender. Um, Don't Torture a Duckling. That's one I've been really meaning to get to. I mean, Fulci is just it's just a fun little train wreck to watch. You're gonna enjoy your time regardless.
Mhm.
All right. Good review for Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. You have a lot more love for the mirror crack than I do. I mean, I just a little too formulaic for me. So I mean, it was basically just the test. It felt like the test run for Murder She Wrote.
Mhm.
Uh, yep. So, yeesh. Mhm. I've got a little more love for Two Evil Eyes, I will say, but I'm a The People Under the Stairs 5 stars. All right, that one. Got to give me a little talk about that.
Oh, um, yeah, I really like that one.
Hmm.
Um, you're looking for, I mean, it's a Wes Craven film,
Yeah, yeah.
but goes in some different directions than you might expect.
Hmm. Well, I know it's a great race rate. I mean, it's now getting revisited as a great racism allegory, or at least the low income. But yep, a Home Alone inversion, and it's great. Ooh, yeah. No, no, you sold it with the first one, the first line. All right. I have the Criterion disc for Something Wild. I remember that more just from the fact from it being on Comedy Central all the time back in the
Hmm.
90s.
Which is weird because
Yeah,
it's not that kind of humor.
no, no. I mean after the sex scene telephone call, yeah, I know that. But it's Jonathan Demme, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, like he was a very interesting filmmaker. I mean, besides, you go from Something Wild to Married to the Mob, and then you end up with Silence of the Lambs and in Philadelphia. I mean, let's see. Oh, he did not appreciate Altered States enough. As a Okay, is Bim the little donkey, which you saw after the apple, any relation?
No.
Oh. Oh, that brought me back. Are you thinking that 90 for I did Crazy Flicks? I mean, I Blow Up Dolls seems expensive, but should we start selling BIM marks?
Yeah, there's other people who beat you to that.
Okay. Alrighty. Doing part two. Animal Olympics. Just going through your 2024. Oh, it's an animated movie. Okay.
Yeah. So weird little it is like a true indie project that was originally intended for television in 1980 as a tie-in to that year's Olympic Games.
Right.
It's made by the same guy, Steve Lisberger, who did a lot of the work, went on to do a lot of the work for Tron.
Okay.
But it's like this true indie thing that it's like only a handful of staff animated it. There are only four, like only maybe five voice actors at most, and it's
Mm.
Billy Crystal, Gilda Radner, and Harry Shearer doing the lion's share of that.
Oh.
And it's basically just a bunch of vignettes about animals competing in Olympic game style
Mm.
games. And like they just keep going back and forth. And it's very good animation for what could not have been a large budget.
Huh.
And
Well, yeah.
some surprisingly good songs from one of the guys from the pop group 10cc.
Mm.
And it was not available on video for many, many years in this country, but
Mm.
it picked up a cult following in the 80s.
Huh. Well, so where'd you end up finding that on?
Tubi.
Oh, okay. I
There is
mean,
a
it.
lot of obscure, we all know there's a lot of obscure 80s stuff on Tubi. It's
Mm.
just kind of a matter of just flipping through the listings.
Yes. That they do need a better interface for that. Let's see. Yeah, and a lot of love for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Hmm.
But that is understandable. Yeah. I think we've had our own little conversations about Only Yesterday, which 2.5 is about right. Definitely like I think it's a fun movie. Like after Turning Red, I think it's a fun little movie to perhaps show children. So, but yeah, so I will give Kevin Smith a chance before this episode drops to see if he can take it away from Coraline, or I better thought there was another one real fast diary. Do. Oh yeah, Return of the Godzillas. Those are the top two right now. Um, and it, just because of the nature of the podcast and people wanting to talk about, you know, movies we love, it made it a
Hmm.
little trickier to discover stuff for me. Like, um, yeah, again, just being a time concern. So so yeah, I think we're just to the point now. You've got the time off for B Fest. I've got the time off for B Fest. I've got my contract. I haven't filled it out yet to try and sponsor a film. Um, you really, I think it's just comes down to, do you have a copy of Shock Treatment?
No.
Oh, I thought you had at one point, but
At one point, yes,
no.
but
Okay. I mean, I can secure one, so we can think about that. I
mhm.
mean, Life Force is I don't think you can find the original 90-minute cut. So I don't want to push. I mean, the regular cut, the cut that everybody's seeing is damn near 2 hours. So that seems a little
Mhm.
long. I mean, they've shown it before at B Fest, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we let it fly. Going back to our conversation. All right. I thought about trying to find Future World just because. Um, but yeah, no, like if I want to go cheap, like Dead Hooker in a Trunk, I think I could do a little work and maybe get the Soska sisters involved on that one. Doomsday is just one I think people need to see. Like it's just so silly. Start with an apocalypse movie and then go to a Mad Max movie. I mean, a pandemic movie to a Mad Max movie to a medieval movie. It's just so all over the place. You kind of know why Neil Marshall's kind of fallen off after that one. Like if it only would have made money. And let's see. Yeah, if I can find that Sinbad movie, maybe.
Yeah. I think
Um,
that one be a huge hit at B Fest, and I'm surprised it still isn't better known than it is, especially given it was a canon release.
mhm.
Because it has some like it has everything. It's basically it was heavily re-edited in post. There's
Post. We'll fix it in post. What what the hell is post?
now this case where there are some pretty it is pretty clear there was a bunch of stuff they had to rethink in the post-production process.
Yeah. Um, I've no, like I hear that Raw Deal is kind of the perfect Arnold movie for cheese.
Yeah, it's short
Yeah.
and it's got Chicago locations
Oh, okay.
and it just it's Arnold takes on the mafia.
All right.
That's
So,
about
okay.
it.
Okay. So, and I found it kind of difficult to find King Kong Lives right now.
I'm kind of surprised because they've never done that one and
Well,
it
as
would
they say,
probably go over very well.
it's kind of just difficult to find the disc.
Right.
Yeah, so Raw Deal would be easy. Shock Treatment I can do. Sinbad sounds good. So that's a tough one. Like I think Shredder Orpheus could either go over big or it's the 2 a.m. But it's if it's a sponsored film, it's probably not going to be a 2 a.m. spot.
You never know.
Mm.
You should never
Uh
assume.
yeah, well, you just like people get ready to black out. Well, I don't know. They showed I think it was a reasonably in the morning time when they showed Boy and His Dog.
Yeah. It was
Uh
right before the breakfast break.
yeah, that's kind of reasonable. Like the you don't want to be the 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Um yeah, I guess my only fear with Shredder Orpheus is that it might go over like Hard Rock Zombies. There's a lot of people
Mhm.
who love that movie. Like the Bad Movie Bible likes it,
Uh-huh.
but I heard so many bad things about it from the audience.
Yeah, I bounced off that pretty hard.
Okay, so it's very difficult not to just so definitely probably gonna not. So I'm thinking maybe so yeah, I think I'll just suggest Dead Hooker in a Trunk and Doomsday. We'll go with Raw Deal, Shock Treatment, and I'll try to find that Sinbad movie, I guess is what we'll do for try to get over at B Fest.
Uh-huh.
So thank you very much for the input there. Do you want to buy shares in I Did Crazy Flicks?
Not right now.
Okay. All right. Well, anything else you want to chat about real fast before we wrap this up?
Not today.
Okay, not a problem. So it probably will be around the 25th and 26th. All things work out. So holidays, we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, I guess you can follow what the Poetic Critic is watching on Letterboxd. That's letterbox.com/ the Poetic Critic. If you want to find her on Blue Sky, you can check out my Blue Sky. I'm not gonna press her. So, um, but really do need to get you an icon, I think, for Blue Sky. Just an
Hmm.
opinion. Like you got that little purple girl on your Facebook. Um, so yeah, you can follow me on most on the good social medias at CatBusRuss, and I don't like to call Meta's products good social media, but primarily on Blue Sky at catbusruss.bsky.social. I'm also on Mastodon, where I have a lot of fun there at Russ Stevens at mastodon.social. And of course, I did Crazy Flicks. The website is up now. So it's I think you're probably still, if you're looking for podcast stuff, you're still probably better off just going to 90forchill.com. But there's also 90forchill.blogspot.com. And more importantly, though, if you want to be on I Did Crazy Flicks, offer me a movie, a director, a theme, an actor. Send the email to rustthebus07@gmail.com or follow me on my social media. Again, the email is rustthebus07@gmail.com, RUSSTHEBUS07@gmail.com. And let's fry up some podcast gold, as they would say in Shaun of the Dead, which we have not done on the podcast. Um, yeah, rate and subscribe on your favorite podcast apps. 5 stars preferably. Be as honest as you want in the comments. I will listen and I will try to fix things. Or you can complain to Rory and it'll get passed on to me. Um, yeah, so I'll just get to after Shredder Orpheus, so I guess that might be, a little part of me, the young love thing. But I have to thank Station Marie Harden for keeping an eye on me, keeping me out of too much trouble. And I hope she's doing the same for everybody else she touched in her life. And I hope she's squeezing the undead ectoplasm out of little Skimbleshanks, the one-eared angel. So that's all I've got. We're gonna make it. This podcast is gonna qualify. Like maybe I should post it to YouTube and say it's a movie. Uh, But thank you very much, The Poetic Critic, for coming back on 90 for Chill, the podcast. More importantly, 90 for Chill 200. And look forward to seeing you again. And we'll keep talking about B-Fest, I suppose.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks again and have yourselves a merry little Christmas. I'm still arguing if I should release it after Christmas because, well, we talked about Christmas. So timeliness. Damn. Thanks again, Rory.
You're welcome.
Can I hear a wahoo?